innocent people or people who don't feel safe will not carry a knife because they don't want to get caught with a knife. So that takes our well over knives off the street. Secondly, criminals will be less likely to carry a knife because they're more likely to be stopped and more likely to be searched and more likely to have that knife removed and obviously charged with carrying a knife. So it's very clear. And then the other thing we need, which unfortunately the mayor doesn't have control of, is convictions. Once someone is caught with a knife, we need to have them convicted, we need to lock them up, we need to get them off the streets. So that is how we reduce knife crime. But the question is, how do we prevent it? And that's a completely different story. Prevention occurs through diversion and through education. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the work that I'm doing locally with my people. First of all, I've worked with a charity called Oasis. It's a very large charity, and they do a lot of work with young people. And they have an academy in Lambeth, and that academy has no children who are involved in knife crime or in any other kind of violent crime. It's the only academy and the only school in Lambeth that doesn't have any young people involved. And the reason for that is that they do holistic work. They don't just work with young people, they make sure they identify young people who are vulnerable. And they also work with the families as well. They work with the mothers, they work with the fathers, they help with debt advice, they help with counselling. And because they take this whole holistic approach, it means that they have complete wraparound for the children. And that means that the children are not encouraged to get into crime or into gangs. They also do events as well. In the morning they have a breakfast club, in the evening they have other clubs. So the kids have the diversion, they have the education, and their parents will also help in bringing up the children. Recently I had the privilege of going to a West Ham match. I'm a West Ham supporter. I was for West Ham United Football Club. For those of you who don't know anything about football, it's the most amazing football club in the world. And for those of you who do know, we're 11th in the table. So, you may have heard of Baroness Karen Brady, some of you. And I had to go to the football match and attend the match. And then, for some reason, she needed to speak to me. So I was talking, so I had to go into the director's box, obviously sure, to watch the match. And I'm chatting with Karen Brady, and my team is winning 8-0. Bit of a fluke, but there you go. So I think, well, it's a tough life. But she then mentioned to me that she wanted West Ham to do some stuff around gangs and nightclubs. So I introduced West Ham to Oasis, which is a charity that I work with. And they are now going to be doing a joint project in Europe around night and gang crime. I'm conscious of time, so I won't go on my fault. The other thing I'm doing locally is with a charity called You and Me Counselling. Really interesting work, again, with young people and with families, and Tayo is involved in that as well. And I'm now going to hand over to Tayo to tell you a little bit about what we do.
Thank you. Great to be here. Just on that portion of it, I do a lot of community engagement work. I actually chair Nation Sector Neighborhood Board, and at the moment I'm coordinating the Stop and Start Monitoring Group in Nation and the Hate Crime Working Group. So in my own little sphere, I do some sort of community engagement, and I do support kids. As most of the time I cross paths every now and then. I found out that in Eastborough there's a family, there's an organization, You and Me Counseling, and it thought it was a very good idea with a Nigerian lady. He set up an appointment and we met. I listened to what she had to say, and we're just supporting to carry the intervention to a better level by trying to help raise funds to be able to carry out most of the intervention. It was something she came to because of personal experience. And you know, when you have a personal experience, there's a level of passion that comes into the work that you're able to really achieve something exceptional. She had a young person who was completely out of line, and she did everything within her means to be able to correct this. Every day she was getting messages from school, and the child had several warning letters, and at the point of exclusion, she had to look for what to do out of the box. To cut a very long story short, I think the child was expelled, went to another school, it was the same story. So she went into professional help. That led her to go into psychology to study what was wrong. Part of our assignment was our case study. And she was given some assignment to do, and she was shocked at the results she was getting. Because without any unusual thing, she was beginning to get positive change. And it took her time to realize that the boy had so many issues, partly because of the style of parenting. It's not unusual for most of us to realize that most young people wear two hats. The child you have at home usually is different from the child in school. Recently, one of my officers was sharing with me the story of a young boy who was completely, I don't know how to describe it, and when they went trying to tell the mom, he's like, no, that's not my child. Until when they brought evidence as to the guy being the don of a gang, the woman collapsed because she couldn't reconcile it. The child was a well-behaved, easygoing child, respectful at home. So to find the child some other place was difficult. Anyway, back to this woman with UMA counseling. She found out that she was responsible for some of the children's behavior. You know, we come from Africa where discipline was very important and we still take it. But our understanding of discipline is what needs to be brushed up. There's nothing wrong with discipline, but it's to understand where discipline runs into abuse and to understand that discipline is not a shortcut. It's a long thing. It has to be consistent, it has to be maintained, and it has to be on the right premise. They say that children hear less is more of what you do. So you can't be telling the children all these high levels of things to do while your life does not suggest the same. So she found out a lot of things she wasn't doing right, and that was affecting the way the child was behaving. She was very authoritative, so the child cannot dialogue at all. And all these very soft things the child started to do because that's where they had a little bit of opportunity. So she just found out that basically she was like 85% responsible for the child behavior, and she was really standing in that. Because everybody wants the best for their children. So you now find out that you are actually responsible for your children's behavior, that sets worries. But I don't want to take too much time. It's just something I'm very fascinating and that we're hoping to do a lot of work with her. She is actually making good ground in education at the moment. And I'm sure there are lots of wonderful projects in different boroughs. Like I would like to have with you somebody from our borough region, urban synergy, to do fantastic work on mentoring, and it works. So we want to spend a lot of time on prevention so that we don't do a lot of firefighting at this point.
So thank you once again, kids, and your delightful wife. You see, kids are very well trained husband. He knows. I can see how you managed to get such a beautiful wife. You have sugar full of smiles, and it will take you a long way, kids. Long way. Okay, I just want to recognize two more people I've spotted in the audience, please. I think Dario, you and Prince Ararumi would do a lot of work that you're not really recognized for. Feeding the homeless, helping those who are dispossessed in the community, the voiceless. both here and internationally. I do see clips and things of what you guys do. So guys, stand up, let's be and also, what's Prince? Remember me, yes, Prince in the back. Awesome gentleman with a huge heart. I also recognize Kemi Climax. Where is Kemi? Kemi, stand up. Let's recognize you also in the audience. Kemi has a gift for relationships. Alright? She has a gift for relationships. Working to bring parents to their children and children back to their parents. And not only that, venturing into the arena of marital relationships as well. Very, very gifted. And she's going to go a long way. Alright? So Kemi, congratulations also. Good work. Fina, you'll be hearing from later because I'll introduce her properly later on, another amazing lady. So we have some good people. As they come in, I spot them, I'll let you meet them. For now, I want to introduce the reason that we were here today and the lady in question who has been doing tremendous work. But firstly, she is the managing partner and founder of J. Benson Solicitors. And their areas of expertise is in commercial and residential conveyancing, family and children law, crime and prison law, immigration, housing. They were established in 2008, and the practice was born out of a desire to raise standards in the legal profession and deliver a quality service tailor-made to suit their specific niche clientele. Their practice not only serves the local community in general high street matters, but also caters for small, medium, and large businesses in a broad range of commercial and corporate legal matters. Excellence is their hallmark, so she tells us. We're going to prove that. And we vigorously pursue this endeavor through their team of lawyers who are experts in their field with a combined experience exceeding 60 years. Ladies and gentlemen, she has convened this event today. Let's show our warmth and appreciation to Julia Penson.
Especially to our youth for taking your time. Friday evenings usually the time a lot of youth want to rest and have fun and do things their own way. But you've seen it deemed fit today to be here to try and help us and see how we can work together to deal with this epidemic that is taking our children spiritually, emotionally, and physically. So a big thank you to everybody. Today, I feel today as a landmark day because this is a day that we, in our own little way, we're going to try to work out. This is a day in our own little way we'll find out. Well, I think he doesn't want to hear about the solution. Yeah. So we will, in our own little way, find out possible solutions to the knife and gun crisis. It's not another talk event. It's far more than that. We want to put our heads together, want to put on our thinking hats, and we want to find out sustainable solution to the issue at hand. You would agree with me that as a parent, when you hear in the news that another child is just slumped and is in a critical condition, the first thing that comes to your mind is where are your children, where is Kemi, where is Ayo, where is Ade, which borough, where did they happen, and it goes on, and it is really painful and worrying that we have to live in a society with fear. Now, why are we so concerned about this, we in the Nigerian community? In 2008, 11% of the victims were of Nigerian origin. And in 1 month last year, 4 Nigerian youth were killed in 1 month. And then it's not just the victim, also, if you're a family of a perpetrator, it's a stigma, isn't it? It's a stigma with you. It's hard, it's really hard to deal with. So we're not going to fold our arms and say we wait for the government to do something. We can start something, And I'm so grateful that we got really professionals in this room who we have social and legal experiences, and we can come up with possible solutions to deal with these issues at hand. And I just want our youth to know today that we're here to listen to you. We're here to listen to the struggle, the issues you go through on a day-to-day basis. We're here to listen to you, to hear how we have failed in one way or the other as a parent. We're here to listen to you. And we will do our best to see that this is taken forward. I'm so grateful that we've got people from the law enforcement agency, we've got somebody from the police force here as well. And we're looking at solutions. It's not, we're looking at possibly, say, going forward, how we can table this together and bring them to the attention of the government. And if they don't do anything about it, we, in our own way, we will find a possible solution to it. So one of the things that's really high on my mind is about this stop and search. I'm a bit of a criminal lawyer as well, but I think if we start looking at things like, if the police stop a youth, instead of just arresting them and charge them and all that, you can signpost them to some stakeholders for help. But for them to do that, we need to have those stakeholders on ground, and we don't have any stakeholders on ground. So we want to look at those possibilities. And again, you know, with our youth, if you check, 60% of gun and knife crime youth that are in prison today, 60% are kids that have been excluded from school. Exclusion is not the answer, but nobody's going to hear us until we go out there to say it. Yeah, exclusion is not the answer. You don't exclude a child from school and all that. They go somewhere else to get this. And we as parents as well, please parents bear with me, I'm a parent as well. There might be also some issues we need to look at when it comes to parenting. A lot of us, we work hard, want to do the best for our kids and for the family, and we're not there most of the time. And then this child is looking for someone to recognize them, to belong, to respect them and all that. And when they come home, you're not there to listen to them because you're thinking, oh, I'm trying to put food on the table, but you're doing more damage by that. Having said that, please, there's a clause to this. Having said that, you might be the best parent in the world and still have the worst child. So I'm not only saying that parents don't get it right all the time. The event today is very interactive. We will have a breakout session soon, and we want the youth to please participate in this. This is your opportunity. It's not going to end here. Whatever we come up with today, we're going to table this and take it forward and work with it. Yeah. Just let me end by saying a couple of quotes that are one of my favorite quotes. And it said, we cannot build a future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. So it is our responsibility here, the stakeholders and all that, yeah? And I end by saying this, and this is something very peculiar to we, the Nigerians. It's ingrained in our psyche, is the spirit of community. One child lost is painful. One Nigerian child lost, the community is in mourning. The community is now wailing, and in our grief, we've come together to uncover the root cause and collectively find solutions to fix it. That is the spirit, and that's why we're here today. Thank you.
Waiting for him to come back. Juliet, where are you? Let's just show people the mobile, please. I have a reason for saying that. Let's just show us the mobile. And for the youths in the audience, I think one thing we'd like to communicate to you more than anything else is the extent of the love that your parents have for you. Now, as a youth, it's very difficult for you to kind of get that. But when you understand what it takes and what goes into rearing you, providing, feeding, nurturing, loving, educating, clothing, it is a very, very serious matter, and it's difficult for you to know how your parents feel. I'm just trying to explain that in a way where I feel that you can kind of get it. You know, 3 weeks ago, I took a picture of my son when he was like 5 months old. You know, I don't mention my daughter a lot. She's only 12, but he is a key one. And I showed him the photo of him on my lap. I said, son, look at that. I said, you know what this is? He said, no. I said, my whole life, I see it through you. I said, you know what? He's looking at me. Because they don't think that way. I said, can you imagine me leaving this earth without any seed, anyone representing me? I said, my lineage is there. It's over. It's finished. I said, I'm hoping my name will carry on through you. I said, think about that for a minute. I said, you and your children, my progenies, will represent the evidence of my existence. And I broke it down a lot more. It was an hour-and-a-half conversation. You know, we need to let them understand. Thank you. We need to let them understand because they don't connect. They're just being a youth. So as much we can, let's help. And you know, for the young men in the audience, the experts will handle your session later. One of the things I told my son, I said, listen, I mean, every parent says their son is good looking. My son is good looking. Really good looking. You know. So I said to him, I said, here are some survival. I don't know if I mentioned that, you know, when we were with the Jamaican thing, Stephen. I said, when you see girls with their boyfriends, do not look. I said, don't look. Even if they're giving you the eye, they're doing all that, do not look. I'm not for the young men in the room, I'll give you a tip now. Because they need any excuse to stop you. And they have no value for their own lives, so they don't think twice about taking you out. So they say you disrespect them. Don't look, no matter how much the girls give you an eye, ignore it. Eat your food and leave. I have taught him this since he was 13. These are called survival too. You got to teach them these things. Okay, we have in the audience the chairperson of the British Nigerian Law Forum. Not sure if it's solicitor or barrister, all these wonderful titles. I just know her as Shay. I know. Let's give her, please, a big hand. Shay, where are you? Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And also we have from the Prime Minister's office, number 10 down the street, we have one of the special advisors. I did spot him walking. Nero Ubujabo. Ubujabo. Nero Ubujabo. I thought you were, yeah. Nice to see you, Nero. You haven't changed? Awesome. Welcome. Okay? That's what we are talking about. That's what we need our youths to emulate. All the way from Special Advisor, the Prime Minister's office. Thank you very much and welcome. Okay, so now we're up. You back? Are we ready? We're not ready. Okay, so what we'll do whilst it's trying to stop that, we actually have in the audience 2 or 3 parents who have experienced, sadly, the death of their children through what it is we're discussing today. Now, I cannot begin to imagine, honestly, how they feel. I cannot. I can't tell you I empathize, but I do not. I have sympathy clearly, but that's not enough. But let's hear from them very, very briefly. The first lady I have on my list here is Ronke But Ronke, are you here? Where's Ronke? Come on, let's give Ronke a big hand. Wow. God bless you and preserve you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
We are here to hear and talk about how we can change and improve gun and knife crime. In order to help to discuss this reasonably, I think it is important to hear about my own experience. Before the 25th of March 2018, I was the mother of Abraham Bader. Sorry. Abraham.
I'd like you all, please, this is very important, please be seated and let's pay us some attention, please.
Abraham was a beautiful boy. He has nothing but happiness. It was always Abraham and I from the beginning. From the moment we entered this country, all through his schooling and his adult life, Abraham was such a joyous boy and always had a positive outlook on life. He was a Liverpool fan and was passionate about playing football and teaching football to the kids. He volunteered with. My son was a happy guy. He was talented and he loved helping other people. Abraham was always surrounded himself with people. He always took to in some days. I believe I was blessed with a son that continuously searched for happiness and hope, despite any circumstances. And he also encouraged others to find this in their own lives too. Abraham, where we were living before, we were living in Frampton Park Estate, E9. We had a group of boys that they used to play together. They used to play football. It was in secondary school then. So something happened in, I think, October 2008. So there were a group of boys that gang raped a 14-year-old girl. I think there were 9 boys. And everyone was coming from a lesson, like, after school lesson. So he had a noise in that high-rise building, and they said there was a party going on, that one of them was celebrating his birthday, and he went there, and he found out that they were gang raping a girl. So Abraham tried as much as possible with another boy. They escaped with that girl. He rescued the girl out, and they both ran out. And the girl called her dad, and the dad went to the police station. After that, the rest was just history. So about 4 days after, the police came to my house because the girl mentioned Abraham's name, that he rescued her. And after that, they said they charged those boys. No, before they charged them to court, they asked Abraham to come to the police station, like to be a witness for the police. And at first, I didn't agree. But later, the police threatened me that I will be charged for perverting the course of justice if I don't allow him. So that was when I said, okay. So since then, so when the court case started, the police will come to our house to pick Abraham to court. And all those boys around, you know, we were living together like it's an estate, Frampton Park estate. So everybody knew that Abraham rescued the girl out. So, and after Abraham was receiving threatening messages that you are a dead man, you are this, you are that. So he was so scared. And the police promised to protect him. And after that, so after the case, the court case, they sentenced those 9 boys. They are still on the internet, but they are grown now. So they sentenced them. The leader got life imprisonment. Others got like 8 years, 6 years. So after that, Abraham gained admission to college, Bristol College, to start his A-level. So he moved down to Bristol, and they moved us from Frampton Park Estate to Amos Road, another flat. But Abraham was in Bristol then. So there was a day Abraham came home on a bank holiday. So then my neighbor then was an old woman, a white old woman. And the woman died after like 2 years I moved in, or 3 years. And later they moved in another neighbor. So one day Abraham was coming from Bristol, and I saw one of those boys. So like after 3 years, he saw one of those boys, and he ran back, and he called me that mom. I saw one of those Frampton Park boys around that area. I said, oh, there's a party going on here. Maybe he came for the party. So I told him to go to his friend's house, then I would call him. Around 11:30, I called him, he came back home. The next morning was Saturday morning. He was in the kitchen washing dishes, and he saw the new neighbor. And he shouted, Mom, 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 come. I went down. I said, what happened? He said, is that the new neighbor? I said, yes. He said, oh, I can't stay in this house. This woman is one of, is the mother to one of those boys. So immediately we went back to Bristol. So on Monday morning, I called to Newton Police Station to ask for the officer in charge of the case, and that was like after 4 years later. That was 2013, 12-13, and they said the officer had been transferred. So later, the officer got in touch with me. I explained everything to him, and he asked that where we are going to move to. I said, anywhere apart from Acme. So already I've applied to Camden Council. So what is story short? The Camden Council says, I'm not the victim, that Abraham is the victim, and he lives in Bristol, that they cannot move him out of that place, that I will be bleeding. So anytime I bleed, I will be in position 400, 500. I did that for 5 years. So Abraham went to university in Bristol. He did his first degree in sports science, and he finished his master's degree in sports coaching and psychology. So he moved back to London in 2016. So after that, he wrote to Happy Council that they need to move us out of this borough. The reply was that they don't move people from borough to borough. So since then, everyone was saving money to get his own place, to get his own moving place. So he was working as a sports coach with my time active. And then, so on the 25th of March, 2018, Abraham was shot down just by the house. He was getting food out of his boot because he was coming from his dad's house, and he was shot down just by the house. So I didn't know that the last person has come out of prison. So the last person came out, the guy that was giving life came out of prison in December 2017, and Abraham died in March 2018, 3 months after that. When my son was 14 years, he was a witness to a violent crime, which I've already said. 1 year on, life is a struggle. The impact on me and the family. Part of the family is like part of me died with him. Went with him. And this is Abraham's sister from his father's side. She's been with me, my nieces, they have been with me. But life has not been the same because Abraham was my only child. I have another child. And since then, I've not been the same. I haven't been the same since then, every day. And to go out, I've not gone back to work. Over a year now, I can't go out. Anytime I go out, I see someone that looks like him. I feel distressed, emotional distress. I'm on medication now, antidepressant. So I urge you to please drop the mic, please.
So that's a real live situation. So what happens, youth in the audience, you can see what we are talking about. It may not be your fault. I mean, this was a child of destiny. Yeah, this was a disciplined boy. This is a boy without, from all indications, this is a good boy. And the life's just been. Now, the only thing for you, I've got to tell you, do you attend church, madam? Now, the only one that can heal your heart, I'll tell you now, is the Lord Jesus. Honestly. You can counseling, won't do it, all this one. You need I need proper. Because a lot of these issues, to be honest, I think unless we find some spiritual dimension to it, personally, because the kind of anger you see in the youth, you wonder where the anger comes from. Have you noticed that? There's an anger I cannot put my hand on it. It's not real, it's not normal. It's like something takes over. You look at their eyes, something takes over. And I've been saying this, I've been thinking about it. We need to find, speaking to some of my friends, need to go with some other people, we need a spiritual intervention. Because that works. Okay? Because we've been trying everything else. The Lord will bless and preserve you, madam, and He will heal your heart. Your only child, I imagine, I cannot begin to imagine how you feel, but the Lord can do it for you. Do you understand? You can't live like this. Because if you live like this, you will not be around much longer. Living like this, carrying this weight, you must get rid of it. And the only one is for somebody to help you understand how the Lord can come in and carry it for you. So you can be free to begin to live your life again. Yeah, we are very, very sorry, collective, for your loss. Okay? I'll speak to you later. Okay. Is Rachel here? Is Rachel in the audience? Now, we don't want to make this, but this, of course, is talking about knife and gun. Fine. These are live situations. Help me welcome Rachel. She's got another story to tell us. Rachel, welcome.
Hi, good evening. My name's Rachel Webb. I'm the mother of Kyron Webb. Kyron, 17th of October 2017, Kyron was staying at his dad's house in Manchester, and he received a phone call from somebody, and he left his house to go and meet them. As he was walking probably about 10 minutes from where his dad lives, he saw two boys in a local area that he was familiar to, and he went over to speak to them. They were speaking probably about 10 minutes or so, and then they led Kyron off the main road onto a small residential street. The young man, they were all talking. Kyron had his hands in his pocket, he was laughing. The young man with him was texting on the phone, and the friend he was with pulled out a pole and just laughed, sort of lurched towards Kyron. From the CCTV footage, I think Kyron thought it was a bit of just playful jesting, and he was laughing with them, and they were just sort of looked like they were just bantering. The young man stopped, he looks up from texting on his phone, and he's holding a knife in his right hand, and he plunges the knife straight into Kyron's chest, and it went through his heart. He then went back to his phone, started texting, turned around, and just walked away really calmly. The young man that he was with stood there with his hands sort of outstretched, looking. Kyron, I believe, went straight into shock because he still had his hands in his pockets and was just standing still. The accomplice ran away, and Kyron walked out into the middle of the road, staggered around a van, came back onto the pavement and leaned on the wall. And you could see he was struggling to breathe. As he was trying to take his bag off his back, the two individuals came back on the CCTV footage, and the individual, the one that was texting, shouted at Kyron, jumped on his back, and then pushed the knife back through his back again, and it went 7 centimeters and grazed his lung. And then Kyron fell to the floor, jumped back up, and started to run back towards his dad's house, and the two boys ran away. As Kyron walked around the corner, he fell. He smashed his head into a bin, and then his body fell to the floor. And one of the neighbours on the street found him, saw him fall, came over to call the ambulance. And Kyron died 3 days after the attack. I was in London at the time, and I got the call at about 8 p.m. in the evening. The phone rang. The first thing that happened, I picked up the phone, and all I heard was Kyron's dead, and then screaming. And I was slightly in a bit of disbelief, but I kind of went into shock, so I didn't believe it. It was just so surreal, and I couldn't hear anymore. So the TV was on, I could see the lips moving on the TV, but I couldn't hear anything. After a while, my hearing came back, and I could just hear constantly, it was Kyron's dad saying, Kyron's dead, and he was screaming, saying, Kyron's dead. So I said to him, stop being silly, put my son on the phone. And he kept saying, Kyron's dead. I said, stop being silly, just put him on the phone. And he said, you're not listening to me, they've stabbed up Kyron's dead. But I still didn't believe him. I said, where is he? Told me the name of the hospital, and I hung up the phone. I phoned the hospital and I said, I'm Rachel, I'm Kyron's mum, and I've just been told that he's been hurt and he's at the hospital. Can you confirm that he's there? They said, I'm sorry, we can't give any information out over the phone. So I thought they just didn't hear me, so I slowed down and said it again really slowly. And again they said, sorry, we can't help you, we can't give you any information out on the phone. As I was talking to the nurse, a private number call came through. I picked up the phone and he said, is this Rachel Webb? Said he was officer somebody, said that there'd been an incident and that Kyron had been hurt and he had sustained life-threatening injuries. They said to me, can I come up to Manchester? And I said, yeah, I'm on my way. I remember hanging up the phone, getting dressed, didn't have a clue how I was going to get there. And then I started pacing up and down, ringing my sister and said, I need somebody to come pick me up now to take me to Manchester because someone's playing a prank on me and they're saying Kyron's dead. But I know he's not really dead, it's just a joke, but I need to get up to Manchester. But nobody could come and get me, so it was quite late. Then the police called me back and said, if we could blue light you, can you come right now? His injuries are quite serious. So I said, yeah. A friend of mine came, met them on the M40, they blue lighted me down. As I got out of the police car, it was like a scene from Law and Order. Got out, and there was 2 police officers standing outside the hospital. And as I got out, my body just started shaking. And the officer called me over and she said, I need to speak to you here to spare the rest of the family that got here already from airing the news again. Then she said to me that Kyle had been stabbed and he was in theatre, they were operating on him, but there was only 1% chance that he was going to survive because he had suffered 2 cardiac arrests and his brain had been starved for oxygen for over an hour. We then went into a waiting room and had to wait there for another, I would say, 7 hours. And then a nurse came out and said, we're going to bring Kyron into you, but we don't want you to get hope because we don't think he's going to survive the night. We had to wait another couple of hours and then they wheeled this trolley. Now, for me, that wasn't even my son. So I looked, I didn't recognise him. I said, that's not Kyron anyway. And I'm really sorry for the mother whose child that is, but that wasn't my son. His head was really swollen. He just didn't look anything like the child I sent to Manchester. Anyway, we waited at the hospital. 3 days later, they did some tests and they came back and said that they think he's brain dead, and I had to make the decision to turn off his life support machine. And I remember just laying down with my head on his chest, and as they switched off all the machines, I just put my head on his chest and I closed my eyes, and his heart was beating really, really strong. And it gave 3 beats, and then it went silent, and then the nurse said to me, he's gone. And the only way I can explain it is I was laying down and everything was perfect and idyllic, and somebody wrapped a noose around my neck, dragged me quickly off the sofa and pulled me to the edge of a cliff. They threw me straight off the cliff, and as I fell off, I smashed into the rocks at the bottom and every bone in my body shattered. Whilst the pain started to engulf me, they pulled back that rope again, dragged me up on my feet and said to me, you're a mum, life keeps going, you've got to keep moving. And with every smashed, shattered bone in my body, I had to try and walk. And with every bit of pain, my heart started to harden till my heart became glass. And as I tried to walk to carry on to do the norm, my heart smashed. And you know when people say you have broken heart syndrome, I honestly could feel the broken pieces of my heart scratching on the inside. And you become a passive recipient to grief. So you're choked with unshed tears because you're now forced into this surreal world where you have no words to explain what you're going through. You have no dialect to tell somebody how you feel. And they're the questions that you're asked is, how are you? How are you doing? And you can't explain it anymore because you don't know how you're feeling. I didn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I'm a mother of 5, so there were 4 more children. But it was like I was a corpse trying to grow children. And in this zombie state, somebody wanted me to be able to show compassion to these small little people who in time I started to resent, because when I wanted to cry, I was told, don't cry, you've got children. When I needed to scream, everybody asked me to be silent because I had children. And whenever you want to grieve, nobody allowed me to grieve because I had children. So I started to resent the ones that lived because they stopped me from mourning the one that was no more. All I wanted to do was just be with the one that was no more, because the other 4 were at home with me, but Kyle was out in the cold all by himself, and he needed me to be there. When the individuals that attacked Kyle, they were arrested on the day that he died, and our court trial started March 2018, and when we got to the motive, I says why. The reason why Kyle was snatched from me was because the 2 individuals were in a group and they had written a song, and Kyle didn't like the song. And that's literally what it was all about. So the young lady thought that broke me to hair, and I'm so sorry for your loss, I'm so sorry for what you had to experience. But the journey, for me, now I campaign, now I do, but I was one of those individuals that, until it fell on my doorstep, I never really took time to invest in forums like this. I didn't do half the things that I'm doing now. And in closing, what I would say is, don't wait for it to land on your door before you open your eyes to the fact that it could be you, it could be a child in your family, it doesn't, you get a lot of the times when people give you these ideologies or descriptions of a young child who's naughty, or a child that's in a gang, or a child that's engaged in antisocial behaviours. Sometimes it is just the young children just coming home from school. Sometimes it's just an individual that they say happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Not all the time will you see what the child looks like in order to say, this is going to be the child that's going to pass away. It could be anybody, it could be your child. It's about taking those preventative strategies now to ensure that it doesn't happen to you.
Watching this on television or listening to news or reading the newspaper, meeting live, being a parent live, and hearing the stories. But we have to move on, and I just need to just hold your hands there and just pray with ladies, okay? Just share a word of prayer, because. Anyhow, I need to recognize somebody else in the room. We have a lady here who is another real campaigner, just to acknowledge her presence. She is from Omega FM Radio. She's a radio presenter, and her name is Asia Epion Jones. Asia Epion Jones? Okay. Nice to see you. Welcome. Welcome. I think we're going to take a 10-minute break now. This is very heavy. Let's kind of have some time. Now, Juliet, are they having any refreshment now or later? Because I don't think they have enough time to finish that before.
We're in City Hall, and you can see the amount of work that goes in the community leaders.
All right, so we need you now to stretch your legs. Just use the lavatories, have some water. Okay, I make it now 5 to 8. Can we please be back 5 past the hour, please? 5 past 8. Thank you very much. Just 10 minutes, okay?
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm okay.
You're good?
Thank you. Yes. And you know I do this work as well. So you better tell Charles, yes.
Okay.
UK Africa Diaspora Forum.
Okay.
We bring collaborative partnership with all the people who are working with this work. So we know all of them. So yeah.
Okay.
And we champion to say, to bring it all together. We don't leave anyone behind. So yeah. So yes, and we also promote talent, and we have mentorship programs. And
you can be one of the
I'll give you some of the recommendations. Yes. When if you want, I can have 3 minutes to say the recommendation. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Because I can bring it out from all kind of groups. Thank you. Hello, hi. We're just on break, and you can see that we're in City Hall here today. Again, bringing out the issues of the Nigerian community, the children who have passed away, meeting some of the parents and let them tell their own stories. So we don't wait. We try our best as a community change maker. Thank you so much for everyone watching. If you're watching here today, live coverage from my phone, please look after the youth. Please give time. time to the youth. Please support our youth. Please enhance our youth and make sure that our youth know how painful it is for all kinds of, you can see the stories the guardians are saying. This was, we have victims, you know, and when we have children who are falling as victims, it really hurts. How are you? Come and say hello. Hello. Say, what brings you here?
My son was stabbed twice.
Wow.
So lucky I'm right here.
Can you share your life?
My name is Madonna Mama. My son was stabbed twice, and that's why I'm at this event.
Okay. And how was it for you when your son was stabbed? Because we're hearing live cases from the parents. Are you from the Nigerian community?
I'm
Sierra Leone. Yeah. Okay.
It's crazy. It's just crazy. I just give thanks that
He survived. Yeah. We thank
Can I
you.
give you details?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I will give it to you.
It's crazy.
And thank you for sharing your story. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So that's from Sierra Leone. Mom just seen me here and brought her story to me. Today, when I'm telling these stories, I normally take a silence, a minute silence, and as you can see, there's sadness in my eyes as always. Our t-shirts here today is don't. Hello. Can people read your t-shirts? It's don't starve your future. That is our don't starve your future. That is what our t-shirts are saying. Thank you. I'm gonna leave you. If you would like to come back, let me spare my batteries. And thank you. Let me spare my battery, and please come back and join me. In the meantime, this clip I will save it. Please follow my YouTube channel, which is Juliet Mahapila. I will save this clip, and of course I have another hashtag for this. Children, we miss you. Children, we love you. Please join these campaigns. It's absolutely important. The one person that has invited me, as Councillor Susan invited me, thank you so much for the work that you're doing, for the work that you bring together the community. We appreciate you. She asked UK Africa Diaspora Forum to come and engage and bring us up to scratch. And I tell you what, she's also working with, is it SFT Foundation? And thank you so much. Hold on. So they are being taken. So thank you. You remember me? Oh yes. How are you? Always yes. And you know I couldn't upload the other video. It was giving me, but let's talk. Why are you here today? Tell people why you're here.
I came with
speak.
I came with I was invited by Susan.
Councillor Susan.
Yeah, you know my interest also on the knife crime, you know. Africans and
and by the Somali community in Hyde Corner. Yes, when we were saying stop the knife crime in Hyde Corner, we were together. Thank you so much. And it was what was her name? The Councillor Rakia. Councillor Rakia. We thank you, Rakia, Councillor Rakia, and all the Somali Community Forum in Hyde Corner. We ran our session for Somali community, and today we are running session for the Nigerian community. So we're working together hand in hand. And we take a lot of time to do this. All of us join together to fight these atrocities that are shocking. And we want to, the one thing we want to ask the mayor here is resources are lacking. We are told that resources are available, but actually the grassroots communities are not getting resources. And that is time and time again we're hearing these stories. But despite what we collectively collect our own campaigns, and we are able to bring the community together. If you can, we are looking at our own solutions, and solutions that really solve this problem. We are not, we know about the Glasgow issues, health issues, but I tell you what, our and the youth need to look after themselves. And we ask every single person, if you're watching here today, please, in your communities, give time to your youth. Give time to your youth. Come together and create something. You know, I admire this idea of 1 hour concept with the London Village Network. So please, if you're watching me here today, follow me at JNM 1000. Please also know that this issue is really impacting us. And as you can see, we have the parents of the Nigerian community, and we bring all of them to hear exactly what happened. Many, many thanks for watching, everyone. Thank you.
You know, did you...
People why you're here today? And I love your t-shirt. Don't starve your future.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very, very important.
Absolutely.
Because our young ones seem to be lost. And they need some sense of direction.
Yep.
It's about time it's stopped.
Yes.
And we need to get to the cause.
Yep.
And try and find a solution.
And thank you so much to Juliet Benson and also the Canuck organization for bringing us communities together. And we also champion all these issues. And thank you so much to Councillor Susan. Yes.
Awareness.
Yes. Thank you.
I think they need to actually put faces to the people that it's happening to. Maybe that will bring it to life.
Yes. And thank you for bringing the parents and the guardians to tell their own personal stories. Thank you so much. We love your t-shirts. Don't starve your future. That is the slogan here today. Don't starve your future. As you can see, they're wearing J. Benson's, and this is the founder of J. Benson. Don't starve your future. Thank you so much, Juliet Benson, for the work that you're doing with all your team, for bringing us together to City Hall. And we are asking the city mayor to give the local communities resources so that we are able to champion our own ways. And many, many thanks for bringing us together. We love you, and we appreciate the work that you're doing. And of course, again, don't starve your future. As you can see, they have brought it together with Canuck Central Association. We are happy. Many people I see here. I've seen the Somali Forum Community, UK Africa Diaspora Forum, which we've championed, and many other organizations. But we love you, and we'll continue to support all of you. Many thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is Kiran. Kiran is the MC here, and thank you so much for the work that he's doing. He also champions and sorry about that, there was interruption. I come back again. Charles works with mentoring and coaching the youth. And thank you so much for the work that you're doing.
I don't do any work with youth, I only work with leaders.
Okay,
yes.
He works only with leaders.
Yes.
And he loves to work with, could you tell people what you really champion?
Well, to be honest, I'm a leadership coach and an inspirational speaker.
Yes.
I run a corporate training organization.
Yes.
Providing excellence in workplaces, both in the political arena and the business arena.
And it's always lovely to see you, and thank you for the support you give to all the community.
Thank you too, mighty lady. Thank you too. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Hello, Charles. And you know, we also run, we have a hashtag for children we miss you, and we also bring all the communities that are working together with Knife Tribe together, UK Africa Diaspora Forum. So we've got a few of us
Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, you know how it is. Can I please invite you back so we can wrap this wonderful day up as quickly as possible? Thank you. We are beginning to have a lot of fun now. The music is playing and we may just forget ourselves.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Could I please invite Mr. Prince Ararobe and Oyi to please come forward and make the next announcement. Help me please welcome Mr. Prince Ararobe and Oyi. Let's give them a big hand, please. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Can I please, excuse me, can I please, dial your table, can I please get your attention, please? All right, we need to get out of here soon. Let's just concentrate a bit. Those people outside, Julia, can you help me get a bit if there are people outside so they don't miss this session? Thank you. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. My name, as I've been introduced, is Prince Ararobe. And I'm here to do justice to what we're here. We're here to get solutions to a problem that is affecting everyone here. The way I look at it, from where I stand, we're all victims. Either you like it or you don't. That's the reality. If you're not directly, you're indirectly. If you're a youth in the house or in this hall, can you raise up your hand, please? You're youth. I expected everyone to raise up their hand because we're all youth. And I'm going to be ably represented or assisted by Ms.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. This is really cool. So my name is Oyi, and I'm really happy to be here and to help facilitate this workshop. And just really engage you guys and to let you guys talk. We've had lots of people speak, and I know that everybody has an opinion. And just like Prince said, we're all involved in this matter. If it's like friends or schools or uni or cousins, it doesn't matter. We all have an opinion and a voice. And I think opportunities like this for us to share our opinions in an environment where you're not being judged, to speak freely about things that actually affect us all and that we all are deeply passionate about. So I'm really excited about this workshop. And yeah, my name is William.
Thank you. Should I just go down now? Fantastic. It's good now. So, we're going to get straight down to business. So, we've numbered the table.
Yeah, I already have one.
So, if you've seen any number on your table, can you raise up your hand? Can you shout out your number?
I'm trying to make sure.
Fantastic. So that means we're active, right? On the table. While we're trying to face this, there are questions written on the table. If you get a question on the table, can you raise it up, please? There are questions on the table, on each table. Thank you. If you don't have a question on your table, can you raise up your hand? Fantastic. So everybody has got a question. Now, we want you to appoint someone on that table that will be the spokesperson. Boy or girl, man or woman. Can you do that right now, please? If you're the leader or the spokesperson, can you raise up your hand, please? The spokesperson. Fantastic. Fantastic. So what we're going to do in this session, I'll take it, is very, very interactive. So we're bringing us back to the classroom. Some people are not. Table 1, have you appointed? Fantastic. Table 2, who's your leader? Table 2, table 3, table 4, table 5. Table 5.
Do you want to should we summarize what we have been speaking about?
Table 7.
Table 7. Yes.
Table 7.
Do you want
Who is this? Fantastic. Table 8. Who is the spokesperson? Table 8. That's table 8, right? This one person. Yeah. Table 9 and table 10. Fantastic.